Hello, my hosts, and welcome to this rather experimental stream. What I am going to be doing in it is doing some live programming while you in the stream watch. So let's flick over to Unity and see what we can see. Now, the object of this project is to create a way for me to programmatically get the chat. At the moment, what I am doing is, at the moment, what I'm doing is using OBS's browser plugin and treating the chat as a pop-up window, which is fine, but it does have a little bit of inflexibility and means that I have to keep polling the system. So let's look at this now. Now, what I've set up so far is I've set up this environment where we have a text object that we can write on. It's a text. And you can see it very faintly coming up on the screen. So what we might have to do is darken that so the rest of us can see it much more clearly. So let's change the material. Nope. It's a little peculiar. It's readable, but hey, it's my hair. And that actually functions pretty good as a screen, so let's use that. So now, yeah, so we have this UI we can type into, and I'll scroll up, but that's just the first step. What we really want to do is have that operate automatically. So we will flick over to this chat API and jump over into C#. Okay. So things first, we're going to have to put that text into a field. So that. Okay. Properties. So let's try. So we're going to call this thing here. This is going to be the where we can put the text. So text public attribute text. Remember how to actually declare variables in C#, because it's been a while since I've actually programmed in C#, and every single language has a slightly different declare. See, one of the things about programming is most of it is looking up manuals and following what they say. Okay. So you can find out what the actual text object is. Okay. The engine dot so that will bring in the class text. Text. Call it an output field, because that is fairly obvious. We'll comment it. Field. Again, obvious, but we quite quickly find out that doing these type of minor obvious things helps us get that done. So save. Now project. Is it the project? Tools. Where is the compile? Extensions. Find in fields, start window. This is also me learning the interface, because they change it slightly each time. Something obvious like F8. But I bet if we go back to Unity now, yep, excellent. That's compiling the scripts. That looks like we've got a bug. Nope, it's just being busy. And then it crashes. Let's go back out of there. That is most curious. Now we have to wait for the crash report to finish. Yeah. There's no fix for that. Let's restart Unity. Sorry about this. Let's reload things. Oh, if this fails again, I'm going to have to... I'll probably scrub this script stream and change this spot to something else. Just having a bit more fluids while Unity rebuilds itself. My philosophy with programming is to frequently compile, just make small changes, compile, test, and oh! And we are back. So, there we got Unity again. Can we dock that in here somewhere? Hold on. You can't see, I've got the console window. I'm just wondering if I can dock it somewhere so you can see what I can see. Probably not. Okay. Excellent. So you can see here now that output text, the output field, is a part of that. We've added it to, let's add this as a component to the event system. And we will add this text field from here to there. Then what we can do is when we can go over to C#, and in our starting script, we can say output field dot, we look at the properties that output field has. There's one dot, so output field dot text, text string, save that, flip back to Unity. Okay. So now let's try running that. We've got compiler errors. So what does compiler errors say? Text does not contain it. I want to let you guys see these compiler errors. Wonder if I can close here. Add tab. Why can't we add the console as a tab? Because then you could see the error message that I can see. What's it saying is text does not contain a definition for text and is not accessible. Okay. So let's go back to C# and fix that bug. Field methods. Okay, let's have a look. Has fonts. Ah, it is lowercase t for text there. So save that. Why? Find in file. Start window? No. Add button. Okay. Can I add compile? Like the most simplest thing you would want a Object browser, toolbox. Do I have to be signed in or something stupid like that just to run the compiler? Oh, that gives us the error messages. Okay, let's check if Google can tell us how to compile. Visual Studio. Build solution. What a wanky name for that. Says build solution from the build menu. Where is the build menu? Push the green start button. There's no green start button. Okay. Okay. Hi, 4PyJM. Report. Okay, let's see if we can get this to run again. So, over to Unity. We go play. Awesome. So all that work to get a text to come up. This is Unity, which is a programming environment that allows you to write programs and games and that type of thing. And at the moment, what I am doing, or trying to do, is write a script that will take the chat messages and put them up on this screen over here, because at the moment we are doing it in a very bodgy way and I want to make a better way of doing it. So let's go back to the program file. Okay. So we confirmed that we are actually able to set the text, but we want to actually access the API. So let's try and look up what we need to do for that. Okay. HTTP. So what we're going to need is Unity web request. Okay, so add a new line here. Let's see. Unity request. Unity engine. The engine networking, which will give us the tools to actually make a request. Okay. Right. Now, this part I'm just going to be following a bit of a tutorial here. So, copy that into here. And replace Tube $API. Now, okay, examples. Let's request. Now, what I'm doing is in a different window, looking through the instructions on how to make a request correct. Okay. It's a little complicated. See if we can get it. Oh, .NET. Playlist. Okay. Okay, catch for each. Yep. So I'm gonna need to find a little bit more work to do to get this thing working. Let's see what we can do. Chat. Live streaming API documentation. Okay. So we go like that. Just like that. I am quite good, Werewolf game. It's like getting a little bit hot here, but otherwise it is fine. So let's broadcast. So let's create. So list request here. And hopefully can do this. Okay. Let's set that to a list. Okay. So I'm pretty sure this is going to crash and burn spectacularly. Because I'm not doing any authentication and I'm just hitting the raw URL. That's okay. We're going to learn it together in a way. So save this, and everything turned green. That's helpful. flick over to Unity. And we will see if this works. So when we hit play, it tells us that we've got compiler errors, which is typical. Okay. This tells us the error that Unity web request doesn't contain a call called list request. Yep, I am using Unity to do this programming, and the animation software that creates me is also in Unity. So when I get this working, I can actually include it into myself. Web request. Okay. This is a pain because the Unity web request supports get, head, post, and put. Might on create and delete, but not list. So I have to work out how to do that. Send request. Okay, so we can change that to so I'm not sure what this does, so let's just change that to let's undo that. Control Z. That should be list request there. Okay. And request. Does that change things? Unity web request dot. That's odd. I'll just get rid of that for the time being. Actually, no, we don't. Unity web request. Request. right now I'm just reading through the manual that tells us what to do with this Unity web request. Creates a put. A lot of this is reading manuals online, which is not as good streaming traffic as I thought it might be. And I am sorry if this is not that captivating. I created my own avatar, yes, but I didn't create the rendering software that makes it. Now, what I want to check here. Actually, we can look at what I'm doing. Just a second. I'm going to change this so you can see what I'm looking at in Chrome. This is what I'm looking at the moment in Chrome. Remote actions, Unity. Okay, Unity network. This is for not what we want. Custom. Custom verbs are permitted, so. Okay. So it tells us that we can have our custom verbs. So how do we do that? Get asset bundle. Okay. Unity web request is what we want. Okay. Unity web request. Architecture. New. Experimental networking, that's a request. Is that what we want? That does not look like what we want. Post. This one seems to be about maybe it's not full data. I'm not needing raw data to actually put control. Creating upload handlers, creating download handlers. Here's the thing about programming. 90% of it is reading and applying documentation. Pictures. It's not what we want. Okay. That. That's useless. Okay. If we can't figure out how to do this, then okay. Ah, okay, that helps. That helps a lot. So we grab that, go over to C#, paste that in there. We say, let's just shrink this so we can be a little bit more readable. Just want to get everything on the screen here. So in here, we say URI, and that is a variable. So when we call, that has to have a bracket there. So this is a function. This function list request takes in this argument. This argument will be populated into the variable URI. Then that will be used to create, okay. Yeah, it will be used to create this web request. And what we can do is go web request dot gets verb. It's method. To set the method. And the method that Google wants is, we look at the API reference, we look at the API reference here, Google wants us to do a list to get the list of live broadcasts. So if we say list as the method here, and we'll try and we'll save it. Then we'll flick over to Unity once more. And we'll start compiling our scripts. Oh, there's no errors. So let's try running it and see what happens. It ran without an error. But in the debugging output, which I can't capture at the moment, we get a 404. So let's go back on to C#. And see if that's actually a working URL. So just select that URL there, copy it, go back into Chrome, paste. We also get a 404. Okay. What's Does that mean the documentation's wrong? Oh. URLs relative to that. So grab that thing there. Go back in to okay. Paste. List live broadcasts. Save. Go into Unity. To compiles. We run it again. We get a method not allowed, which I suspect is because we haven't got the OAuth going. Unfortunately, dealing with OAuth, which is the authentication system that Google uses to allow permitted scripts to access its system, that has to deal with me giving credentials to the system as well. And it might expose some of my login details if I do it incorrectly. So I want to tackle that bit of the project offline. But what we have done is we have got a script running. We've got the script outputting the data onto the user interface, and we've got it to actually make HTTP requests to the Google server and have it return errors. So we've made a small amount of progress, which is quite good. What I am going to do is do a little bit of work on this offline, basically around doing the authentication, where there's a risk of me breaching my own personal security. And once I've done that, that project will be ready for the next time I stream this Unity work, and we'll have a little bit more progress there. So, I'm going to flick it back to my basic scene. And I know that this was a bit of a scruffed scene, stream, so I'm getting a bit used to how to do sort of like a programming stream and make it interesting. I've got some other ideas of what I can do to make it better, but so that will be probably next week. I'll have the next Unity stream. And until then, thank you very much for watching.